Okay, new recording. So let's see, I have a place called math classes, and in math classes I have quant lit, and in quant lit I have math 98 fall 2020, and I am going to add a new spreadsheet to that folder. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to that first pattern from lesson 3.1, not the introductory pattern, but the first one. So that X's, so where did that go? Back here. Okay, so this pattern right here. What I want to do is I want to have the computer help me build the 5, 9, 13, 17 pattern, and I'm going to do it in a few different ways. So I don't know if you remember the first day a week ago, I played with a spreadsheet with some patterns, and I said the spreadsheet is kind of a wizard. It can automatically generate some patterns, but others it has a hard time with. This pattern here, and let's just go to a new page, 5, 9, 13. So the pattern we're going to bring into a spreadsheet, and we're going to say this is N, and this is circles. The first one had 4, and the second one had, no, that's a lie. The first one had 5, didn't it? And the second one had 9, and the third one had 13. And the one way of noticing this pattern is that we're increasing by the same amount each time. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways to show this +4 pattern. This is what's called a recursive pattern. Recursive means repeatable. So just, what do you repeat? Add 4. What do you do next? Add 4. What do you do next? Add 4. That's recursive. So to the spreadsheet, we're going to reproduce that. Can you all see my sheet? Okay, let's blow it up a little, maybe. Okay. And so in A1, I'm going to type N for my stage letter. And then here, I'm just going to put circles because I was counting circles. And then N was 1, and then 2, and then 3, right? And here's one way to continue a pattern. Now, would you agree these numbers are each 1 apart in pairs? So if I highlight the numbers, let go of the mouse for a sec, point to the bottom right corner of what I just highlighted, and by the way, in the middle of the cell you want to start with, click and hold and drag to the middle of the cell you want to end plus that crosshairs. Click and drag down and compute that. Renee, I will come back to that question after I do the spreadsheet demo. So here, circles, I'm just going to type 5, right? We started with 5 circles. We got to 9 circles. Then let go, then point to the bottom corner, right? It's a process, right? Step 1, highlight. Step 2, let go and point. Step 3, click and drag. And it should continue to add 4 over and over again. So the technique I used right here was using the autofill button. To use the autofill button, you need a pattern of at least 2 numbers. So I'm just going to do that again. So 5 and 9 are 4 apart. I can highlight just the 2 of them, then point and click to that bottom right corner button, then click and drag. 3 steps. Highlight, point and click, and then drag. And I get the same set of numbers I got before. This only works if it's a linear pattern. What does linear mean? Linear means that the items are the same distance apart consecutively, one after the other. Any questions on that? Did everyone get the autofill to work? If you didn't, tell me and I will repeat. So try that yourselves. All right, let's see. Okay, so we got that. All right. Okay, so I'm assuming we're good to go on. All right, so I'm going to do this again with a different version. So I'm going to type circles up here again, and I'm going to try to reproduce these numbers in a different way. And the way I'm going to do this time is with a formula. Now, I do already have a pre-recorded video about this. It's in the playlist. It's also linked in the Canvas course. I'll show it in a minute. So I'm going to take advantage of this +4, but more explicitly. I'm going to tell the computer to start with 5 and then do the add 4, right? So here's how we'll do that. Here, we're just going to type the 5 and then hit enter to get to the next cell. By the way, if you're new to using a spreadsheet, every time you hit enter, it will fix what you typed and jump down. Now in the next cell, I'm going to type a formula, and somebody mentioned last week that for formulas, we have to start with an equals. Okay, so in the cell below, type equals, and then click on the number 5 above, straight above. And the computer says, you just clicked on cell C2. Then I'm just going to type +4. So what the computer is going to do is just going to look and see whatever number's in C2, and it's going to add 4 to it. So if that was a 7 instead of a 5, check this out. So click back on the 5 above, change it to a 7, hit enter, and it says, oh, 7 + 4 is 11. Put the 7 back to a 5, and it says, okay, 7 + 4 is 9. So it's just going to automatically update based on the cell above. I'm going to repeat that whole thing again. I had to type the 5 manually. Then I clicked on the cell below and I typed equals. I clicked on the number I want to add above, and then I just typed +4. Question? Now, in this case, since I typed a formula, to use that formula, I click only on that one cell with the formula and I drag only it down. And the computer will repeat the idea of adding 4 to the cell above. This idea is called a relative cell reference in a formula. What relative means is that even though it says use cell C2, it's really thinking use the cell above. Because if I look at this, where the 13 is, it says use cell 3 now, which is the one above. Relative to where I am now, get the number above is what's happening there. Okay, so 2 different ways I generated these numbers. This was the autofill. Each number is just a number. Using the recursive pattern add 4, I had to type a number, then the formula, then only fill the formula. If you try to fill both, all hell's going to break loose. You're going to get some weird stuff. What? That's not what I want. So only the formula gets filled in that second method. All right, third method, and then we're done with spreadsheets for now. So circles here. This time I'm going to use the formula that we came up with, the 4n + 4. So I'm going to tell the computer how to use this 4n + 4 formula, 4n + 1 formula. Okay. So to do that, I'm going to type equals. I'm going to use the formula right away. So go to cell, I'm in, like D1 is my title, D2 is my first thing. I'm going to type equals 4 times. Okay, now where are the n, the values of n located on my spreadsheet? Anybody? Trying to talk, you might be muted, or you could chat.
A1.
A1, yeah. N is located over here. So all I do is say, okay, grab this n over there, and then add 1 to it. And I only have to set that up once. So I hit enter to fix that formula. Then I click back on it, and I just fill it down with that bottom magic fill button. And it did it. The reason I'm showing you 3 different ways is that not all patterns are linear. So sometimes we have to use this recursive method to generate numbers, and sometimes we have to use this explicit version, okay? So I'm just gonna make a note in my sheet right here. Here, I just use autofill to make that one. In this one over here, I used what's called a recursive formula. And in this last one right here, I use what's called an explicit formula. Explicit means you just type the number you want and out pops the answer immediately. Recursive means if you want the 100th one, you need the 99th, which needs the 98th, which needs the 97th, and so on. It's a lot, it's more work in a way. So these are just a few different ways to use a spreadsheet to generate a pattern. For linear, all 3 work. For a quadratic one, I would have to use either the second or third method. And for exponential, I would have to use either the second or third method. So it just kind of depends on the pattern we're generating. There is a video that repeats everything I just did there. It is located in the playlist, and it is located in Share Your Work for week 1. If my internet will let me get there. Share Your Work week 1. There's a similar assignment where I want you to continue this pattern, but on a spreadsheet, and then answer some questions. And I have a video of me doing the same thing I just did in the spreadsheet. And then underneath is how I'm going to grade you. And then you're going to post your results here. Okay. And you won't be able to, once you make a post, you can see other people's responses to see how you did compared to them. So you only get one shot at this. So please work hard, check with friends. And then in the end, it's got to be your own spreadsheet that you submit and anything you want to type up to go with that. You could put everything in the spreadsheet, or you could type stuff and submit your spreadsheet. Now, if you're a Google Sheet user, those of you on the screen, if you could give me a thumbs up if you're a Google Sheet user. I'm just kind of curious. A whole bunch. Okay. All right, any Excel users out there? Thumbs up for Excel users. I see no thumbs up. Is that true? Okay. All right, so if you're a Google Sheet user, here's the recommended thing. Give it a better name. Like if this were my share my work, I would do something like Parker Share week 1 maybe, or maybe I'd put Math 98 in there too, but I'm just gonna call it Parker Share week 1. Give it a title, make sure it's well labeled to the best of your ability. And then the way to share it with me is to go to the share menu. If you have just an ordinary personal Google account, then you can just copy the share link. If you have a Google account from another college, then your share link is going to be restricted to people from that college only. So for example, I get a lot of people from EOU or some other community college in this class, and I'm not in that community college. I'm not an EOU teacher. So that means if they tried to share this link with me, I wouldn't be able to read it. I'd get, sorry, you don't have access. So if it's a personal account, then you should just be able to copy it. If it's a institutional account from some other institution, you're gonna have to change that so that anyone with the link, like your teacher, can get it. And then the link is copied, and then you would just go, let me go to student view. You would hit the submit button. There it is, the reply button, sorry. And you could do something like this. If all your work's in the spreadsheet, then just say all my work is in the spreadsheet. And then you could link the word spreadsheet to your file by just highlighting the word spreadsheet, click the link button, and paste that shareable link from Google. Ooh, what happened? I thought I copied it. I messed up. I must not have hit the copy button. Copy. And again, it's got to say anyone with the link, anyone on the internet with the link can view. Otherwise, I won't be able to view it. Paste. That's better. And insert it. If only some of your work is in the spreadsheet, then you have two choices. If your work is on paper, take a picture of your paper and then image upload. And there's a video for this in the announcements, how to do this. You would go to Canvas, My Files, and then upload the picture that you took of your paper so I can see that work. Otherwise, cancel, you could just type whatever you want in this box along with the link to your spreadsheet. So you have a few options on how to get me your work in here. And again, make sure you read all the instructions carefully and how I'm going to grade you before you actually submit it. And if you do submit a spreadsheet that's restricted, you'll just get a note from me said, hey, you didn't share it right. Can you try again? And if you're stuck, I'll help you do it. All right, that is that. I'm going to pause this video and then start a new one in a sec. Stop.